Hello, my dear viewers. Welcome to my channel, Lit Ladybug. So we have seen 3 lessons in comparative literature, and this is the fourth one. It is comparative literature and other discipline. So here in this video, we are going to learn about comparative literature and psychology, comparative literature and sociology. So comparative literature is an interdisciplinary field. The practitioners of comparative literature, they study literature across national borders, across time periods, across languages, across genres, across boundaries between literature and other arts such as music, painting, dance, film, etc. Across disciplines such as literature and psychology, philosophy, science, history, architecture, sociology, politics, and etc. So in this video, we are going to learn the interconnectedness or interdisciplinary literature and psychology. So literature and psychology are two branches of science that study human soul. Psychology researches human behaviors and their causes, while literature depicts human behavior through fiction. These two branches of social science studying human behavior are interrelated and mutually beneficial too. And the basic building block of this correlation between literature and psychology is a literary work. That is the building block that connects both literature and psychology. It is any literary work. The literary works study human beings and describe their inner world with all its aspects. The literary work supports psychology in terms of depicting human psychological conditions. In general, comparative literature cannot be separated from other disciplines. And here, comparative literature is a key opening of all doors beyond the national, cultural, linguistic, historical, social, and political boundaries. Hence, comparative studies brighten the perspective of literary criticism and research too. And it is a subject of study. The comparators must keep a balance between expansion and concentration and make use of new tools and techniques for analyzing the features of a work and get benefit from the insight formed in the discoveries of other disciplines such as anthropology, philosophy, sociology, psychology, history of art. So comparative literature is a study of relationship between two or more literatures. For example, English literature, American literature, Canadian literature, Australian literature, and Indian English literature too. And literature and psychology are the two branches of science as we see in this slide itself. So it talks about psychology. When psychology deals with the human behaviors, literature depicts human behavior through fiction or through any literary works. And literary work benefits from psychology in terms of successfully presenting the characters, expressing the characters' mood, and bringing the reader or audience into the psychological dimension of a human reality. That is literary work. And what is psychology? Psychology and the study of literature meet in their focus on fantasies, emotions, and human soul. Thus, there exists two-way relationship based on mutual interaction between literature and psychology. So, psychological elements will be present in literary works as long as human are the theme of the text. Literature psychology covers almost everything we want to know about literature because literature is a product of mind. According to Jung, it is obvious that psychology explores mental processes and it will provide insights into literature as the human mind is the source of all science and arts. And psychological content appears in a wide range of literary forms, from poetry to short stories, plays, and novels. The most explicit reference to the human mind is to be found in psychological novels, which deal with individuals' inner experiences, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and introspections. Centuries ago, Aristotle fashioned a term that brought literature and psychology face to face. How it is? That is the word catharsis. That means psychological or mental purification of feelings. And we may notice in Plato's also, Plato's literature, works of literature that was found in Plato. The first literary work with psychological content is believed to be one of the masterpiece of Japanese literature, Murasaki Shikibu's The Tale of Genji. It is also accepted as the world's first novel. The novel gives clues to understanding Japan of that period and focuses on Genji's emotions, provides a lot of reality related to the human emotions in general. From time onwards, literature and human psyche have been correlated either by various writers, philosophers, critics, by means of several techniques or movements. And not only it was tragedy that combined elements of psychology with the literary productions, it was also novel, poetry, short story, even psychoanalytic theories that brought psyche and literature together. And here, Leo Tolstoy explored human psychology as much as Dostoevsky did. In War and Peace, that questions the motives behind human behaviors. And Anna Karenina describes the characters with their inner worlds. And Tolstoy's characters experience inner struggles, new understandings, and disappointments as they fight for righteousness and justice. And many other literary critics and authors who contributed to literature, psychology may be named, such as James Joyce, Henry James, Arthur Miller, and Virginia Woolf. And here, the list, it is well known that literature is an important source of inspiration for the science of psychology that tries to explain human emotions, behaviors, mental process from a scientific perspective. According to Ian Holland, literature has played a significant role in Freud's discovery of psychoanalysis. Each and every literary character qualifies as a case of psychological study. It was Samuel Richardson who carried the earlier features of sentimental novel and the early flashes of psychological novel through his formula. So the list goes on like that. So we started with Plato, Aristotle, Tolstoy, Anna Karenina, now Samuel Richardson, Spamila, and it was then Henry James who borrowed the stream of consciousness technique from psychology and introduced it to be used in literature, then was subtly employed by James Joyce in Ulysses. and by Virginia Woolf in Mrs. Dalloway. Charles Dickens, with his famous industrial novel Great Expectations, reflected the well established norms of psychological realism. And George Bernard Shaw, in Pygmalion, it was named after the mythological figure of Greek Pygmalion, and the name was also adapted into the Pygmalion effect to emphasize the observable phenomena related to the psychology and the performance of men. Similarly, Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita became a focal work that impacted the birth of Lolita complex. And Nietzsche's just status employed by Bernard Shaw in Superman, Martin Elson's theatre of absurd as employed by Samuel Beckett in Waiting for Godot, and Antonin Artaud's theatre of cruelty employed by Edward Bond in Saved, all could be tackled in terms of interrelation of human psyche and literariness. So I have given you a plenty of examples from literature, how literature and psychology is interlinked or interrelated. And now one more example is given by so these are the things we have seen already. So let me go on to the next slide. Yes. So we have one more example from William Wordsworth that uh, his poem, My heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. So was it when my life began. So is it now I am a man. So be it when I shall grow old, or let me die. The child is the father of the man, and I could wish my days to be. Centuries before, Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, formulated his psychoanalytic development theory. The English poet Wordsworth wrote about nature and nurture. The child is the father of man. It is common sense knowledge that from birth on the child undergoes physical maturation and the development of the body, mind, and character. For example, psychological growth, social interaction, and adaptation. Therefore, the literature is significant to reflect psychological condition of the real world. And there is two notable. So before ending this interrelation between psychology and literature, let me brief out the psychology and criticism. There are two notable approaches exist in literary criticism. Both are used a great deal today in ediges of a given text. A study of psychological elements within the work itself. That is one. Next one is the study of possible myth and archetypal patterns in the work. And there are three phases in the development of psychoanalytic literary criticism. First one is the psychoanalysis of the author. First one is the psychoanalysis of the author. That means, according to Ernest Jones, the author's psychological condition affects his work because of the purpose of the art is the secret gratification of a forbidden infantile wish. So that is expressed through the author in his work of art. So the first one is psychoanalysis of the author. Second phase is the psychoanalysis of the reader. So Norman Holland pointed out that reading recreated the reader's identity. Therefore, his defenses, expectation, frustration, and transformations and recreated during the activity of the reading. So that is second phase, psychoanalysis of the reader. Third phase is focused on the language and the text. So according to Jacques Lacan, the first modern psychoanalytic theory and criticism, the unconscious is structured like a language and literature is the product of the language. So this is how literature and psychology both are interlinked from the ancient time onwards. So I hope you enjoy this video on comparative literature and other discipline. Here we have seen today psychology. So how both are interlinked, interrelated and interdisciplinary, and both are complementary to each other in this video. I hope that you understand this lesson. Thank you for watching my video. I, we will meet in another video. Thank you for watching my channel, Lit Ladybug. I will see you on next lesson. Bye everyone.